When my mother gets very angry, she yells the whole name. So can you imagine when she is very angry at me when I was little, she would go, Alejandro Mauricio Castro, come. So, now, my name, is it short or is it long? Long. It is very long, right? Actually, most Spanish names, because Colombia is a Spanish-speaking country, you will talk about it later, most names from Colombia are very long. Usually, we have two first names, okay? We have a first name and a middle name. You know how you have two characters in your name? For example, if your name is Minji, it is Min and Ji. If it's Minsu, it is Min and Su, right? My name is Alejandro Mauricio. That is my first and middle name, Alejandro Mauricio. My parents choose that name. Maybe in Korean culture, your grandparents in the Tolinja, they choose your name, I know that. But usually my parents choose my name, and they usually choose it, one, because they like the sound, or two, they name me after an uncle or a grandparent or somebody that they really loved. Second is, my third name is Castro. Which name do you think that is? That is my father's last name. My father's last name, okay? And then the last one, Salvat, is my mother's last name, okay? In Colombian culture, you always use both last names. Your father's last name first, and then your mother's last name. So, if you were Colombian, you would always put your father's last name, then your mother's last name, then your name, okay? So that is the way we do it. On our passports, everything, every document that we have has both names. And that way, it helps us not get confused with other people. For example, my father's name is Antonio Jose Castro Becerra. Very long name, right? Antonio Jose Castro Becerra. But my brother, he has the same name. But his name is Antonio Jose Castro Salvat. So people do not confuse the names, okay? And that's why we use both last names. Now, let's talk about where Colombia is. Okay, where is Colombia? That is Colombia, okay? So, is it in Europe? No. Is it in Asia? No. Is it in North America? No. Where is it? South America. Colombia is located on the corner. It is the corner country. Oh, let me see if I can come here. Oh, my shadow. The corner country of the South American continent. Okay? This is Colombia right here. And Colombia has 5 neighbors. 5 main neighbors. Ecuador, which is a little south. Peru, Brazil, Venezuela, and Panama. So that's Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, Venezuela, and Panama. Those countries are very important because it is a big history of Colombia. We are all connected, okay? All those countries are connected. Also, Colombia has 2 ocean borders. 2 ocean borders. It is the only country in South America to have 2 ocean borders. So the Pacific Ocean. Which one's the Pacific Ocean in Korean? Oh, very good. And the Atlantic Ocean. Which one's that one? Very good. And actually, the sea right above it is the Caribbean Sea, which connects to the Atlantic Ocean. So, as you can see, that is Colombia here, the one to the north. This is the Caribbean Sea. You can see Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and this all connects to the Atlantic Ocean, taking you to Europe, where the first European settlers came. And if you go this way, from down here, you can come to Korea. Okay, it'll take you a very long time by ocean, but you will make it maybe. Also, what country is this? It is South Korea. I hope you know this country. Okay, how many provinces do you have? 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What about Jeju? You forgot about Jeju. It's okay. I'm sure people from Jeju will not be happy, but okay. They won't know. This is Colombia, okay? And a couple of important cities, like Seoul. It's quite a big city. But Colombia is divided into 32 provinces, okay? 32. You have 9, we have 32. Okay, the size of Colombia is bigger than Korea. But instead, we don't say provinces. We don't call them provinces. We have a word in Spanish, provincia, but we don't say that. We call them departments, departamentos. So what do we call them? Departments, okay? I believe the difference is that they have a little bit more autonomy. Do you know what autonomy means? Autonomy means that they can control themselves a little bit more. They're not so connected to the capital, okay? Now, statistics. Here's Colombia. Does anybody know the capital of Colombia? Very good, and I heard it over there too, Bogota. Bogota is the biggest city. It is the capital. It's about 10 million people in that city alone. But the population of Colombia is about 48 million people. 48 million people. To compare that, it is a bigger country than Korea, but how many people does South Korea have?
50 million.
50 million, about 50 million. So, Korea is a smaller country, and Colombia is bigger, but the population is about the same. So, there's as many Colombian people as there are Koreans, okay? Now, let's talk about this. What is this? This is the Colombian flag. Oh, so beautiful, yellow, blue, and red. You can make every color with these 3 colors, okay? But that is not the meaning of the flag, okay? Colombia has a tri-colored horizontal band flag. What is tri-colored? What does tri mean? It means 3. Colored, 3 colors. Horizontal, what is horizontal? It goes from left to right. Band flag, okay? These are our 3 national colors. They are everywhere. They're in that little thing at the top. We put them everywhere in Colombia. Colombian people are very proud of their flag, and they will wear it on everything they can. So, the first one, the yellow, what do you think it means? Well, it's right there. What does it mean? Riches and resources. Colombia is very rich in resource. Whether it's used correctly, that's something else. But it is very rich in resource. We have gold. We have black gold. Do you know what black gold is? Oil. Oil is very important, especially these days. We have oil. We have emeralds. What is an emerald? Like a jewels, okay? We have lots of rice and corn. We have lots. It is a very rich country with lots of resource. As you can see, the gold. These are our traditional golden objects. The blue, what does it mean? Waterways. The only country in South America to have 2 oceans. Also, we have major rivers that connect the Caribbean into the inside of Colombia. And also, we have part of the Amazon. And then the last one, the red. What do you think the red means?
Blood.
Huh? Blood, yes. It means blood, or the people, okay? Colombia is a country of mixed people. Our history is very rich. Originally, we started with the natives, and then the Europeans came, and then Europeans brought many African people, and somehow we made a big bibimbap. Okay? That's what we're gonna call it. We mixed each other up, and this is what you get. A Colombian person. Okay? So we have lots of different people, different regions, lots of mixing, so it is a very mixed country. Okay, so more about it. So, everything in red, what is the same about everything in red? Spanish. Okay, the national language is Spanish. Okay, so we only speak Spanish. Some people learn English, some people learn French, but we usually speak only Spanish. That is the official language. Now, some of the native groups, they speak their own native languages still, but by law, everything is done in Spanish. Okay? So if you want to go to Colombia, please learn Spanish. Now, the national bird. Does anybody know what the national bird is? No? It's kind of a difficult bird, and it's not a very pretty bird. But the bird is called the condor, the Andean condor. And actually, the condor is endangered, unfortunately. But it stands for freedom. It's a very big bird, and it flies above the mountains of the Andes. And the Andes stretch from the north of Colombia down to the bottom of Colombia. So this is our national bird. You can see it on our national emblems. You can see it on our stamps and things like that. Okay? And let's talk about money. Okay? Let's talk about money. In Korea, what do you use?
Won.
You use the won. Chonwon, Baekwon, like this, right? In Colombia, we use the peso. Repeat after me. Peso. Peso. Okay. Colombia uses the peso, and we divide it kind of like Korea, but a little bit more, okay? We put some smaller ones. We have the 20, we have the 50, we have the 100, we have the 200, we have the 500, and we have the 1,000. Okay, we have the 1,000. So, is the money kind of similar to Korea? Yes, we separate it, divide it the same way. Our biggest ones are in the thousands, and then it goes smaller, okay? So, the 20, actually, this year, I believe this year or next year, it will stop making the 20, the 21. Because it is like your shipwon. Nobody uses it. Nobody wants it. It's kind of useless. And then, actually, with the 20, they usually round up or round down. So that way they don't use it. The 50 pesos, and on the back, that is a bear. It is a bear from our region. On the 100, it is a frajeon, which is like a national plant. Colombia has is one of the countries that has the most amounts of fauna y flora. Do you know what fauna is? Fauna is animals, and flora is plants. Very good. You can say it. Plants. So it's one of the plants that's native to Colombia. Very important. And then the 200 has the guacamaya. Guacamaya. What is the guacamaya? What do you think it is?
Is it plant?
Huh?
Is it plant?
No, the guacamaya is it's a bird. It's a very colorful bird. It's like a parrot, actually. It's a very beautiful big parrot. Sometimes, a long time ago, people had them as pets. And if you teach them, they can speak. So those are the parrots that speak. And then the 500 has the frog on it. I believe it is the frog that is poisonous, that you find it in the rainforest. And then the last one is the sea turtle, the endangered sea turtles, which are actually native to our shores, and those are the ones that travel around, okay? Those are the ones that will live for 200 years, and they get really big, like this. Who has seen Finding Nemo before? Raise your hand if you've seen Finding Nemo. Yeah, like those turtles, that big one, it's like those, okay? And they come from the ocean. Now, these are our bills. 1,000 bill, which that one will be canceled starting next year. The 2,000 bill, the 5,000 bill, the 10,000 bill, the 20,000 bill, and the 50,000 bill. These people on them, these are famous people that have changed Colombian history. The first man, he's a writer, I believe. The second man is Simón Bolívar, the liberator of Colombia. The third one is another writer. The fourth one is a woman. I believe she's a writer. Fifth one, I think he was a politician. And the last one was a scientist, I believe. Okay? So, 1,000 won is how much in pesos? How much is it? 2,600. So, every 1,000 won you have, you multiply it by 2,600. So, if you have man won, how much do you have?
26,000
26,000 pesos. 26,000 pesos. So, your money is very strong compared to Colombian money, right? That means if you go to Colombia, you can make double that. You double your money, okay? But what does that mean? What does that mean for you? For example, what is that? Coffee. I love coffee. Oh, coffee's so good. I bought a coffee before coming here. I will probably buy a coffee on my way out because I love coffee that much. All Colombians love coffee. So, how much is coffee here in Korea about? How much do you think?
5,000.
About 5,000? Oh. On the more expensive Starbucks, I know exactly. For a tall Starbucks Ice Americano, it is 4,100 won. So it's a little expensive. And two de jour is, I believe, 2,500 won for a cheap one. So in Colombia, it is about 500 to 3,000 pesos. 3,000 is like from Starbucks, from a very nice chain, and 500 is from a very cheap cafe. Okay, how much is that in won? This is how much it is in won. 190 won to 1,100 won. Okay, so that's how much it costs. Very cheap coffee, right? And then we have this. Oh my goodness, steak. We are meat-eating people. We love eating meat. And the green sauce on top is called chimichurri. It's made from plants and you put it on there. So, in pesos, it is about 30,000 pesos. How much do you think this is worth in Korea? If you go to Vips, how much is it? Do you know? About 50,000, right? Oh, so expensive. But in Colombia, very cheap. 11,500 for a big steak with vegetables and rice and this and that. Okay? Mouth-watering. Or you're like, meat. Because mine is. And then we have this. Buses, transportation, right? So, if you live in Cheongju and you want to go to Seoul, okay, if you live in Busan and you want to go to Seoul, let's say, okay, or if you are from Cheongju and you want to go to Busan, you usually take the bus. KTX is a little far. KTX you have to go to Oso. So, in Cheongju, if you want to go to these places, how much is it? About. Let's say if you want to go to Seoul. 7,000 won, right? About 7,000, 8,000 won, somewhere in between. And if you want to go to Busan, has anybody gone to Busan? It's about maybe 24,000 by Gosok, okay? So, in Colombia, it is 65,000 pesos, which is the same as 24,700. And the distance is longer. From Bogota to Medellin, which is the second biggest city, it is about 8 hours.
Wow.
Remember, it has lots of mountains and it's a tropical country that rains a lot, so it's a little bit, you have to go around. You can't just cut through the mountains making tunnels. Now, what is this? A burger set, McDonald's. McDonald's these days is becoming very popular in Colombia. Becoming popular in Korea, it's McDonald's becoming popular everywhere. So what can you buy? How much is a set here?
One.
A regular Big Mac set or bulgogi set, whatever. It's about how much?
6,000.
6,000 won, right? In Colombia, it is 13,000 pesos. And that is about 4,900 won. So a little bit cheaper. Okay, a little bit cheaper. So what is cheap in Colombia? What is cheap? Food. Food is very cheap because we grow a lot of food. We make a lot of food, we have a lot of animals, and we can have very good quality meat for less price. Okay? Now, these three things, what do you think I'm going to show you next? The history. Oh my goodness. That for some reason didn't show up. So before the Europeans, we had Native Americans. So it's very important. The Americas, we usually begin teaching history from the Europeans. But it is very important to know that before the Europeans, there were people there. People that came actually from Asia. So during the Ice Age, at the very top of North America, Russia and Alaska, which is from America, was connected. So people from Asia, I don't know exactly where, maybe Mongolia, China, Korea, who knows, they came over and they went all the way down to where Colombia is and then further down. Okay? They just made stops and then they separated. Okay? So it is very important to know before Europe, there were people there and they had a very rich culture. They could make things with metal like this and they had their own religion and things like that. These are all of the tribes in Colombia that still exist today. Their heritage. So there are still a lot of Native American heritages there. And then, so this is some more. So this is some of the things they do. What is this? Siram, right? It looks like siram, like Korean traditional wrestling. But they do that also. So maybe, who knows, maybe they came from Korea. And you share some heritage. They do this. Oh, what is this? In English we call it archery. 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 So, what do they do in Korea? I heard you won an Olympic medal in this, right? Oh, so it seems like you have that in common too. Who knows? Maybe you're cousins. Maybe there's a Kim over there. And then, this man came. Who is this man? Columbus. Christopher Columbus. But it's funny you say Colombia, because I will get there too. So, that man came. That man came and brought all of Spain with him. Okay? Spain and the rest of Europe. And Colombia was a colony of which country? Spain. Can you guess? There you go. This is Spain. Actually, Columbus was originally from Italy, but the Italian king did not want to give him money, so he went to Spain. And the Spanish queen gave him money, and he came to first the Caribbean, here, to Dominican Republic, and then he went down, directly down, and that's where he got to Colombia. Okay? And that's how all of the, the Spanish were very lucky because they gave him the money, and look at everything that Spain controlled afterwards. Like there's Colombia, Spain, very good. And, Colombia is actually named after Columbus. Okay, that is why they named Colombia. They named it in honor of Christopher Columbus, which in Spanish is Colón. So, which one is the flag of Colombia? The third. See, right? This is Colombia. What's the first flag? Do you know? Venezuela, Ecuador, and then the last one is Panama. Now, why am I showing you this? They're very similar. Why do they have similar flags?
Because they were all the colony of Spain.
They were all a colony of Spain, and then after the colony, something happened. They all used to be one country. They all were one country together. When they fought against Spain and they said, we are our own country, we are Colombia. And together they fought against Spain and they became the country of the Great Colombia, La Gran Colombia. But then, they are sisters and they fight. Okay, which one's the most beautiful, which one is the best, this and that. And they all had their own pride and then they split up in 1831. They divided. And that's why Venezuela, Ecuador, and Colombia have very, very similar flags. Panama, actually in 1903, Panama was still part of Colombia, but what is there in Panama? What is there?
Panama Canal.
There's the Panama Canal. Who helped make the Panama Canal? Do you know? America helped. America helped make the Panama Canal. So America was like, oh, why don't you divide from Colombia? And Panama did. And that's why their colors are kind of similar to the American one. Okay, some more history. Now Colombia is a modern country. We are a very modern country. We have big cities like Bogota, 10 million people. This is the night in Colombia. It can look kind of like Seoul, depending on where you are, right? Or Daejeon, or Busan, or wherever you go. But Colombia, like Korea, is a very traditional country. This is a traditional home in Colombia. This is the royal church, the church where in the capital, where the royalty used to go. And this is one of the oldest basilicas in the Americas, which is